Welcome back to Kai's Way, the path that we're all on to better our own and our families' lives. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made $18,000 with proof. Just remember, I do not sell courses, this is entertainment only, and this is not financial advice. Let the intro roll. So as you can see here, I'm showing you my live Tradeovate account. So Express means funded accounts. Total P&L is my daily profit, 18.3k. The right hand side available margin is my total balance. So I've got around 31k in the account. And the top rectangle shows it's a live Tradeovate account. Okay, can't be more transparent than that. I'm not affiliated with Topstep and they're not paying me to make this video, okay? Let's get straight into the analysis and breakdown of the charts. Okay, so loading up the trading view, what we're looking at here is gold futures, which is the asset I was trading. The purple zones are the supply and demand, support and resistance, whatever you want to call it. I won't go into the details of that right now, but essentially the higher time frames, what you can see is gold is broken out of this consolidation zone and has been aggressively moving towards the upside for the last couple of quarters of 2024. So with that being said, the overall trend is of course bullish, okay, until we see a change of structure or reason to believe that the actual sentiment in the market is changing. And as you can see, since the back end of October, gold has started to have a bit of a pullback, and gold usually rises during fear of war and when there is actual concerns in the market or instability. With Trump coming into the market now, there is a chance that the Israel-Palestine conflict will come to an end, and also Russia and Ukraine. So coming back to the charts, as you can see, it has had an extreme push to the upside and we've had this bullish momentum. We've then started to pull back, and I've marked out a few zones where essentially what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see how does price react when it comes back up into certain support and resistance levels. So I'm going to show you that right here. So as you can see, price has pulled down, had some type of accumulation just here, which I'm showing you in the rectangle, of orders getting stacked. Sellers have come in, pushed the market down, mainly perhaps that is institutional order flow that can make the market do that, and essentially has broken this trend line, okay? Now, what I mean by trend line is rhythm, okay? The rhythm of the upside move has been broken from this point, which I'm circling, which for me is a real area of interest, because clearly there is institutional order flow sat there and institutional sellers sat there wanting to push the market back. As it revisits, as you can see, huge downward candle again from that zone. But now on the third attempt of actually coming up to this zone, what you can see is price has actually broken through what was previously resistance, okay? So it was support first here, it was supporting the bullish bias, then it became resistance for the sellers. And now it seems as though it might start acting as support again for a short-term bullish move to the upside. Very simple, guys. Very, very simple, higher time frame analysis here. So my first trade idea really was I'm trying to see how can I get short in the market, and I can only really get short at certain zones, which is this accumulation of sell side orders, which is stacked here. That is the region where price has actually moved aggressively from. So if I want to get short, I really need to see price revisit this area, ideally, and I want to see a reaction from that zone, okay? I don't want to be selling until I actually see that happen. Now, if I go back further in the chart, you can see where accumulation, here you go, look, accumulation here of orders. So it's like hesitation, and then what you see is accumulation, and then you see aggression, and again, accumulation and aggression. Accumulation again, this time it actually pulls back to a previous zone of accumulation, and you see those buyers stepping back in and filling their bag, okay? And this is usually very common in gold, okay, where price moves towards, almost magnetically towards these zones, all right? That's why I pay close attention to these zones in the higher time frame with gold. So coming back to the trade idea, we see a break of the previous resistance. As you can see there, price is now retesting that zone. So the first trade idea really for me is, can I get long on a short-term scalping trade up into the area of accumulation of sell side orders, which I've marked out previously. But basically, I'm going to show you this again, is I'm looking to get long, very short term, into a zone where I'm then ready to short. So I'm actually playing both sides of the trade, and I'm only looking to take a long into this region that I'm marking out here, okay? That is all I'm looking for as my first trade idea, and I need the retest to happen, which, as you can see at this point on the 4 hours, it actually has happened. The retest of the zone has happened, and now I'm drilling down into the lower time frames to essentially find an entry. So I'm looking for the smaller time frame patterns, and here you can see I've put my stop, I've put my charting tool on to show me where my stop loss is going to be, just below this zone. But essentially on the 15 minutes, you can see price is creating a bit of a, almost like an accumulation pattern, right? So it sort of has pushed up out of this zone, retested. Now I'm looking for a very simple bullish move from this particular accumulation zone that I've just circled, okay, where buyers are stacked. And also I'm using the volume profile and also level 2 data to back this up, okay? So I'm waiting to see buyers stepping up onto the DOM to actually take this trade upwards, and I need to see orders getting stacked on the level 2, which I'm not showing you on this screen, but I'm watching that on another screen as I'm entering this trade. So as I see buyers stepping in on the level 2 data, the DOM, and also the footprint and delta showing me bullish divergence, I am stepping into the market here. Very tight stop loss. I'm going to follow this along. Very, very low risk trade in my opinion, and I'm just taking it up to that sell side zone where I want to get short. But as you can see, look, towards the end of the session, we don't quite meet my TP area. We start to see rejection. So I don't need to really hold this any longer here, because essentially, for the sake of, you know, a few extra points, my whole bias is not going to go down the drain because I'm trying to go short anyway. Okay. When I start to see this accumulation pattern happening, we're all towards the end of the session, and I've made decent profits on this trade already. This is where you have to be smart, especially on funded accounts. I take the profit, don't need to be stubborn about my mechanical TPs. Very much, there's no point me holding this play, and I'm ready to take profit at this point and then get ready to enter my short when that time happens. So as you can see, price has gone exactly towards that sell side accumulation that I was talking about and those stacked orders. So price has actually gone into that region, okay? And now I want to see actual intention on the order flow and the level 2 DOM, and the tape, should I say, sorry. I want to see actual sellers stepping into the market and saying, hey, we want to take price back down into the weekly VWAP, which is my original idea that I made $18,000 on. So we've got this level of support formed, okay? So I need to see some type of aggression to take that out, which is obviously liquidity, which you see happens here. Price then revisits after taking out liquidity, comes back into where the sell side orders are stacked. And now this is my entry point, okay? Very, very simple entry. And I think essentially I'm keeping the stop loss fairly wide at this point to get my entry and to give my trade idea room to breathe. But as you will understand, this is necessary for gold because gold does wick quite heavy, okay? Now, of course, I'm going to move this to break even as quickly as possible once the opportunity arises, but this is essentially the entry, and I'm taking it down into the weekly VWAP because we're around 2 to 3 standard deviations away from the VWAP at this point, okay? I won't go into my VWAP theories at this point, but I use the VWAP quite extensively on futures trading. At the time of taking this trade, I think my funded account is around $13,000, so I've got plenty of buffer in the account, and this is where I like to really scale in and take advantage of having those funded accounts and making some significant money, which in this case was $18,000. So what I'm doing is I'm looking to scale in, right? Not the right at the start, very small without positions, maybe 3, 4, 5 contracts, okay? And I don't move my stops to break even immediately. Like people get excited here. No, we take half the risk off, but gold can wake up quite aggressively and take your stops out, all right? Now, I'm looking now for safe areas to start adding 1, 2 contracts each time as his leg starts to move down, and that's how you scale in, okay? Your original position, once it's at break even, and you start to take risk off the original position, and you see accumulation happening here of sell side, delta, I'm adding 1 or 2 contracts. And this is where the tape is so important and the order flow is so important, okay, for you to actually see what sellers are doing, or whether those orders are getting absorbed, or whether they're actually having an impact on moving the tape downwards, okay? I'll make a separate video on order flow and how I use delta and time and sales, but essentially we are looking good at this point. We just need to make sure we don't go to break even too quickly, because we might get wicked out. That's just the way it is with trading, okay? You have to have some element of risk on the table. So at this point, I'm scaling in. I've scaled in more positions as I'm starting to see the break. I've now moved my original position to break even. Now I am fairly comfortable and I'm just managing the additional contracts I've added. Now, of course, this whips back up. It's going to impact me, but it doesn't, okay? It absolutely melts, takes out the TP, which I've got set around the weekly VWAP, and the rest is history. Okay? So overall, very happy with that $18,000 move. Now, as you can see, I've actually completed the move before the New York Open happens, which is great because the New York Open wicks around and then actually not much happens for the rest of the session. Yeah, I could have potentially gone a little bit further and taken more profits further down, but I'm not a mind reader. My job in the market is essentially to have a plan and to execute that plan. And once that plan has been executed, the rest is just greed, okay? And this is how you blow funded accounts. So very, very happy with that trade. Of course, the risk for me was managing the additional contracts I was adding. In this particular instance, I felt as though the A to B move was pretty well managed, and the adding of the contracts is what compounded the move significantly. Of course, I don't take 18K every time I make a move, but this is where managing your funded account is very important. Once you're in profit, these moves become a lot more feasible and a lot more risk-free, okay? So very, very happy with that move. As you can see, we were significantly away from the VWAP, around 2 standard deviations. The VWAP is where institutional order flow likes to get involved, start fulfilling big client orders. That's where you see a lot of uncertainty around there. But look, we were on perhaps a 2 standard deviation rhythm away from the VWAP, and then we have crashed back into the VWAP. For me, this was a very simple trade. Of course, this has taken years to master, but I was targeting accumulation of the sell side orders, which were previously stacked. We're 2 standard deviations away from the VWAP. For me, this is an accumulation again, a break of structure, and an absolute melt back into where the weekly average price is. Very low risk for me, and I was able to add contracts as I went along. Of course, this doesn't happen all the time, but that is trading, so we have to manage the risk. So that was a gold futures trade. If you want to check out my video around how I made $42,000 in 20 days using Topstep, who I'm not affiliated with, guys, I'm just sharing the fact that I'm taking payouts from these guys and they've been consistently reliable with payouts. Check out the video in the link around how I did that. And if you're more interested around CFDs, check out this other video about how I made money with FTMO, around 11K payout a few weeks ago. Hopefully you'll find some gems that might help you on your journey. If you're interested in doing your charting through TradingView, which is, I believe, the best trading charting platform out there, and you want to get access to the full tools and resources that TradingView has to offer, such as various indicators, if you're trading ICT concepts and things like that, and then check out the link below in the description for TradingView and see if you can get yourself some discounted package. Now, hopefully you found some value in that video. Remember, guys, I'm not a guru. I do not sell any courses. I will never approach you first. So stay vigilant. And all I ask for is some liking, some subscribing, and some comments in the section below. So really, I need to have the feedback from you guys that actually these videos are worth my while and actually you are finding them useful. With that being said, best of luck with your journey. Keep going. You're only literally 1 or 2 steps away from changing your life. Trading is a skill that can really change your life. You know, it is not easy and it will take significant time. However, once you learn the skill, and there's a lot of free resources online for you to learn the skill, you will be able to make this work. So keep going, keep striving. And if you want any specific questions, reach out to me in the comments and I'll try my best to answer. With that being said, all the best to you guys. So remember, you can do it however you want to do it, but this was Kai's way. Peace out.